Department of State. This is the oldest and most senior executive department responsible for the nation's foreign policy and international relations. Led by the Secretary of State, this department is the President's principal foreign advisor. It manages the U.S. diplomatic presence around the world through its network of embassies and consulates, negotiates treaties and international agreements, and issues passports to American citizens. When you hear about U.S. diplomacy, you are hearing about the work of the Department of State. Department of the Treasury. This department is responsible for the economic and financial systems of the United States. Led by the Secretary of the Treasury, its mission is to maintain a strong economy and create economic opportunity. It manages the nation's finances by collecting taxes through the IRS, printing money and minting coins, managing the federal debt, and enforcing finance and tax laws. It plays a critical role in everything from your paycheck to the stability of the global economy. Department of Defense. Headquartered in the Pentagon, the DoD is responsible for providing the military forces needed to deter war and ensure the nation's security. It is the largest department in the government, led by the Secretary of Defense. It provides civilian oversight for all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, and Space Force. Its mission is to project American military power and protect the security of the United States and its interests around the globe. As of today, its official name remains the Department of Defense. Any permanent change to Department of War would require congressional approval and has not been enacted. Department of Justice. The DOJ is the nation's top law enforcement agency, responsible for enforcing federal laws and ensuring public safety. It is led by the Attorney General, the only cabinet member not called a secretary. The DOJ represents the United States in legal matters and works to control crime and seek just punishment for those guilty of unlawful behavior. It includes some of the most famous law enforcement agencies in the world, such as the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and the U.S. Marshals Service. Department of the Interior. This department is the primary steward of America's public lands and natural resources. Often called America's landlord, the Department of the Interior manages vast swaths of federal land, including the iconic National Park System through the National Park Service. It also oversees agencies like the Bureau of Land Management and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Additionally, it is responsible for honoring the nation's trust responsibilities to Native American tribes. Department of Agriculture. The USDA is responsible for developing and executing federal policy on farming, forestry, and food. Its broad mission includes ensuring the safety of the nation's food supply through the Food Safety and Inspection Service, providing financial support to farmers, and managing the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as food stamps. It also oversees the U.S. Forest Service, which manages 193 million acres of national forests and grasslands. Department of Commerce. This department's mission is to create the conditions for economic growth and opportunity. It is a diverse department that promotes American business both at home and abroad. It is famously home to the U.S. Census Bureau, which conducts the constitutionally mandated census every 10 years. It also includes the Patent and Trademark Office, which protects intellectual property, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which monitors weather and protects ocean resources. Department of Labor. The Department of Labor is tasked with fostering the welfare of the nation's wage earners, job seekers, and retirees. It is responsible for enforcing federal laws related to workers' rights and safety. This includes ensuring fair wages and working hours and setting workplace safety standards through the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. The right to unionize is enforced by the Independent National Labor Relations Board, not the Department of Labor. It also measures and reports on the nation's employment statistics, such as the monthly unemployment rate. Department of Health and Human Services. HHS is the federal government's principal agency for protecting the health of all Americans and providing essential human services. It is a massive department that manages some of the nation's most important programs. Its agencies include the Food and Drug Administration, which ensures the safety of food and medicine, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the National Institutes of Health, which leads medical research, and the programs that administer Medicare and Medicaid. Department of Housing and Urban Development. HUD's mission is to address America's housing needs and enforce fair housing laws. The department works to create strong, sustainable, and inclusive communities with affordable housing for all. It provides rent subsidies through programs like Housing Choice Vouchers and Public Housing, supports homelessness services and local housing programs, fights housing discrimination through the Office of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity, and offers mortgage insurance through the Federal Housing Administration to expand access to homeownership. Its goal is to ensure that every American has access to safe, fair, and affordable housing. Department of Transportation. The DOT is responsible for ensuring a fast, safe, efficient, and convenient transportation system for the American people. The department oversees all forms of transportation. Its major agencies include the Federal Aviation Administration, which manages the nation's airspace, the Federal Highway Administration, which oversees the interstate highway system, and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, which sets and enforces safety standards for vehicles. Department of Energy. The DOE has a mission that is far broader than most people realize. In addition to developing the nation's energy policy, the Department of Energy is also the primary agency responsible for the nation's nuclear security. It oversees the research, development, and maintenance of all U.S. nuclear weapons and naval nuclear reactors. It also manages the nation's strategic petroleum reserve and leads research into cutting-edge energy technologies, from fusion to renewables. Department of Education. The Department of Education's mission is to promote student achievement and prepare for global competitiveness by fostering educational excellence and ensuring equal access. It does not establish schools or colleges, but it does administer federal financial aid for education through programs like FAFSA, collects data on America's schools, and enforces federal educational laws against discrimination. Its role is to supplement and support the efforts of state and local school districts. Department of Veterans Affairs. The VA is the government agency responsible for providing vital services to America's veterans. It is one of the largest federal departments. Its primary mission is to provide healthcare services through its massive network of VA hospitals and clinics. It also provides non-healthcare benefits, including disability compensation, educational assistance through the GI Bill, home loans, and burial and memorial services for former members of the armed forces. Department of Homeland Security. This is the newest cabinet department, created in response to the September 11th attacks. DHS is a massive agency with a single, overriding mission: to secure the nation from the many threats it faces. It is an enormous umbrella organization that consolidated 22 different federal agencies. Its most famous components include U.S. Customs and Border Protection, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the U.S. Secret Service, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and the Transportation Security Administration. Thanks for watching. Which cabinet department do you think has the most influence over daily life, and why? Let me know in the comments down below. And remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more.